Greetings and welcome back to room 303 in our chats with Emily. That's what we're calling our readings through the poetry of Emily Dickinson. We are using the Johnson edition as our source guide, and we now turn to poem 688. Speech is a prank of Parliament. Right away, we're back to another Sam Boyle's poem, and the scholar priest will give us some insight here that I think again is necessary, much like our study of the previous poem 687. Priest says it this way: this poem comes in a letter of early 1862 sent to Sam Boyles. The letter number 252, begins, "I can't thank you anymore. You are thoughtful so many times. You grieve me always now. The old words are numb and there ain't any new ones. When you come to Amherst, I will tell you about the picture. If I can, I will." And then follows the poem to end the letter. Some picture, we don't know what she's referencing. Priest will finish, the combination of prose and poem seems to say that although Emily has thanked Sam Boyles often in the past, she now cannot find new words for the present situation and is numb. He has caused her such heaviness of heart that it stops her from the ordinary, easy, automatic reactions of speech and tears. Her only answer is silence, as Ruth Miller says, a quaint response for one so skilled in the verbal art. And then again, the nature of the picture mentioned by Emily remains a mystery. There's so many kinds of questions we would love to ask about some of these poems. And as I said in my previous lecture of 687, and again, our assumptions are that you've been following our stuff at learnstrong.net, down that left-hand side, Chats with Emily, our playlist. I'm hopeful that you've worked through our introductory comments where we mentioned Sam Boyles a number of times, as well as, of course, the preceding 687 poems. And if you follow that, then this poem is not surprising to you, but we do feel in some ways, as I said in my previous lecture, like a voyeur, looking in on affairs of Emily that she probably would have wanted to remain very, very private. The argument, though, is simple, that sometimes there just aren't words, and the theodicy question, or the question of pain and suffering, comes up, and she says it this way: speech is a prank of Parliament, tears a trick of the nerve, but the heart with the heaviest freight on doesn't always move. Now, the idea of speech here, in quotation marks and italicized, is going to be set off from tears. In other words, speech, and of course we've called our series Chats with Emily for a number of reasons. One of them is, in fact, this poem. Speech is a prank of Parliament. Now, prank here is used in 5 poems. I think it's the key word of the poem. Prank can mean play, it can mean joy, but it can also mean something more subtle. Speech, in other words, is what parliamentarians do. And of course, her father involved in government, as we've already said. Notice tears is a trick of the nerve. You'll remember trick from 272, 369, and 649. All of those using this idea of the trick. In other words, fooling in some way of the nerve. In other words, tears, you can control speech, but you can't control tears. The heart, notice capitalized, with the heaviest freight on, and I think freight is the key word of this poem, doesn't dash, always dash, move, dash. What point is she making here? I think her argument is that sometimes there is no more words that can be said for suffering or for rejection. At 2b, I'd like to challenge you to think about the tone. Is she giving up in some ways in a poem like this? At 3a, all of the Sam Boyles poems, as we mentioned, even the previous one of 686 comes to mind. I can't help but read something like this and think of Hamlet, Act 1, Scene 2. What is it that he says? Oh, that this too solid flesh with all melt resolve itself into a dew, that Providence had not fixed his cat and get self-slaughter. How does he end that? This is not or cannot come to any good, but what does he say? Break my heart, for I must hold my tongue. And I think in some ways Emily's maybe channeling some of Hamlet's feelings about, I know something's wrong, and I can't speak about it other than in, a poem like this or the soliloquy of Hamlet. Finally, in 3b, to own a poem like this, when was a time when you had no words, but you wanted to say something, you just couldn't? Thank you.